this year.
This is the Baseball Hour with Tony Maz.
Me!
Presented by Bigelow Tea, Jackson Lumber, Blue Moonlight, Wellesley Testosterone, FindMassMoney.com, Gem Plumbing, and by Golf. On Boston's home for sports, 98.5, the Sports Hub.
Who else, from among people here, who else are you comfortable with at third?
At third, Sedan. You know, Sedan can play third, so you can play third, Torre can play third. He hasn't played there. You know, I don't know how much KC played last year. I'm not sure. We know Connor can do it, so I think in case of an emergency, we can move Casey to the outfield, Sedan to the infield, and go from there.
It's Alex Cora just a few minutes ago over at Fenway Park in between Game 1 and Game 2. Sox with a 19-5 win in Game 1. 13 of those runs coming in the eighth inning, a position player pitching for the majority of that inning. And they get ready for Game 2 tonight. They will do so without Alex Bregman, who suffered a quad injury in Game 1, and all of a sudden, that is the primary story for the Boston Red Sox right now. And what feels to me, Tyler Milliken, is a season where stuff keeps changing by the day for the Red Sox, and almost none of it good, but it keeps coming back to the primary story that we experienced in spring training, and this has been kind of the dark cloud hanging over this team all year long. It is Raphael Devers, his willingness to play the field, his unwillingness to play the field, wanting to play third base, now refusing to play first, and what happens next if Alex Bregman is going to miss any extended period of time. He might not have to. It sounds like maybe they might have dodged a bullet. We'll hopefully get some more updates here in between. I know Bregman did just speak a few minutes ago over at Fenway Park, so we'll try and get some updates on that. But that's the story tonight here on the Baseball Hour Roundtable. No Maz, of course, because it's a holiday weekend. Are we Mazless on Fridays for the remainder of the summer? Is that the way this is going to go, Stu?
I believe he's off the schedule next week.
Okay.
So the summer of Maz has begun.
This feels that way.
Day one.
It began last night, Milliken. The summer of Maz beginning early. It's not even summer out there. It's 40 degrees. I had to turn my heat on last night. Maz still ain't working.
I wore shorts to work today. I had to change in the car. It was very embarrassing.
Bad decision. Not a good move. Not a good move from you, Milliken.
Oh, May 23rd. I would expect it to be 70 degrees outside. Please. Am I asking for the world?
No, you're not. Is it too much for me to ask for Raphael Devers to play third base if the Red Sox need him to?
Yes.
Apparently.
You're in a spot now. I would hope that he'd be willing to play third base, but considering what the last conversation was, where he hasn't even answered a question about first base, and including today, did not do the post-game media once again. I know there was the whole situation last week with the walk-off where he denied Ken Rosenthal. Chris Cotillo and Sean McAdam have also noted that, once again, the organization is unhappy with him not being willing to meet the media, but even this year, it's been raised to another level with this drama. But you also have Devers out here right now, who is in the midst of arguably his hottest streak, hottest month ever as a hitter in this game. You know, we're talking a guy with a 168 WRC+, a 972 OPS. This is the best version of Raphael Devers we've ever seen. He's walking 16% of the time. It only makes the conversation about him moving to third tougher because the middle of this lineup has its problems right now, but it seems like the most simple fit, especially if you need to get Trevor Story out of the lineup, which I think is a priority as well right now.
Yeah, Trevor Story did get a hit off the position player today, so he did keep his OPS above 600.
Let's be real here, though. He started the inning and grounded out, and in that second at bat, Emmanuel Rivera pumped 84 by him, blew it by him because he was throwing 50, 60 before that, so very close to him making the 2 outs against the position player.
So the Devers thing might only apply for a few days. It sounds like maybe Bregman, Cora did not go this far. He said he didn't know if he'd need an IL stint. I know that Bregman said he's day-to-day. We're all day-to-day. Is there a certain period of time, Milliken? Let's say they think Bregman's going to miss the weekend and come back for the Milwaukee series. Do you make the move?
No, I don't think you have the conversation unless we're talking, an IL stint, a month or something like that. If it's the next 3 days, especially against an Orioles team who has the second fewest wins in the AL right now, I think you can get by for a couple days. But if it's anything longer than that, then yes, you should have the conversation.
Will they, let's say for the sake of discussion that Bregman needs to go on the injured list, will the Red Sox approach Raphael Devers about helping the team and going back to play third base? And more importantly, would you agree that Devers playing third base in the absence of Alex Bregman is in the best interest of the Boston Red Sox?
Yeah, what I would do is put Devers at third base. I'd call up Marcelo Meyer, who homered off a lefty earlier today. And listen, he's playing well at AAA. He's not dominating the level. He's played well down there. I'd put Marcelo Meyer at shortstop. I'd let Trevor Story face some lefties. Keep in mind, Meyer has still never played 100 games in a professional baseball season. Calling him up to the big leagues is a lot. Already rushing him a little bit, then expecting him to stay healthy throughout the rest of the year. And then I'd go and look at second base, and the Red Sox are getting Christian Campbell reps at first, so picture him at first, and I'd let David Hamilton handle second for that period. And you can mix and match with Trevor Story there as well.
I think the Story stuff and the Devers stuff, I think those are two different stories right now. Trevor Story has lost his job. I'm sorry, he has. He can't hit. Marcelo Meyer should be the shortstop of the Boston Red Sox moving forward. If Alex Bregman is only going to miss a couple of days, I would call Marcelo Meyer up. I'd have him play third base, and then you move him to shortstop when Bregman comes back, and Story goes to the bench. If Story wants to play, he can figure out how to play first base. If he wants to keep his anemic bat in the lineup, then he can try and play first base and be a good defensive first baseman. He's lost his job. The Devers stuff here, though, is the primary story. Would he be willing to play third base to help the team, or is he so dug in and still so pissed off at Breslow and the team, would he tell them no if they went to him?
I fear that he would. I do, and I hate to say that.
How could you feel any other way, by the way?
The only thing you could say, and maybe argue that it'd be different, when Devers spoke about the first base situation, right? He continued to emphasize, I am not here to keep learning positions. I'm not here to try to figure it out or whatever it may be. There's no learning here. You've played third base your whole life. He said it himself. I play third. So there shouldn't be this big adjustment. At that point, if he tells you no about third base, he's simply telling you, you told me to throw my glove out, It's gone. And guess what? If you're Devers, you could sit there and say, look at my stats. Look at the numbers right now. I am a top 5 hitter in the entire sport, but that doesn't win you over with your teammates. And that's really where it's going to come down to, and where you risk other guys getting upset and frustrated.
Should the Red Sox avoid putting Devers back in the field given how productive he has been as a DH?
If there was a way around it, I would. I just don't think if it's a long-term thing, more than a couple days, I don't think there's a better way to handle it. And mentioning that plan earlier, it opens up the DH spot. If you put Devers at third, Yoshida can come off the 60-day IL on Monday. He can hit. He's been hitting this entire time. Hell, you don't want it to be Yoshida? Guess what? Call Roman Anthony, and then you can kind of rotate him in the outfield and do it that way.
See, this is what I think the people are missing on this. Red Sox fans who are defending Devers, of which I know there are many, because they feel the Red Sox have approached this the wrong way.
Which they have.
And no doubt, there's a factor in that. Like, I mean, Craig Breslow and the Red Sox did not approach this as openly as they should have in the offseason, and Devers had every right to be pissed off about that. What he doesn't have a right to do is to be so pissed off at the team that he hurts the team, that he affects his teammates. He's got other guys in that clubhouse who are going out there and trying to win baseball games, and it would help the team if he could learn how to play first base, or at least try it. And by the way, if he can't play first base and it's proven, all right, then you say, all right, you're a DH and you tried it. Thanks for giving it a shot. It was a good message to send to your team. He could go out tomorrow and play third base. Would he be good at it? No. But the key point here is, Milliken, is the Red Sox would be better with him at third base because it opens up the DH spot for Roman Anthony. Period. End of story. You could argue Yoshida as well. The state of this lineup right now, Trevor Story's batting fifth today. Trevor Story can't hit. You need better hitters in that lineup. The way to do it is to open up the DH spot, and Devers could help the team by doing it. I guarantee you, though, if they asked him, even in the wake of this Bregman injury, no matter what it is, if they asked him to go play third base, he'd tell them to go F themselves.
No, it's a great test to see how far this line is really drawn, because last time he wanted to act like, and yes, they lied to him all offseason. I hammered the hell out of that stance, and I still believe that they handled that extremely poorly. Craig Breslow, you deserve a lot of blame. Alex Cora, you deserve a lot of blame as a player's manager and someone who's supposed to know his players to that entire level. But yeah, I think with Devers right now in that entire situation right there, getting a Roman Anthony, when you look at the Red Sox lineup, Christian Campbell has had a horrendous month of May,
yes,
and the Red Sox are doing him no favors by getting him to learn first base, and you're getting some reps in center, and some of that is Raphael Devers' fault as well. But the middle of that order needs significant help. Because yes, Trevor Story, he still hits lefties a little bit. Guess what? In a month, today was his second extra base hit in a month. That is just not a Major League Baseball player. Right now, he has a 66 WRC plus. Last year, the worst qualified hitter in the entire sport was Maikel Garcia. He was at 69. So he is worse than the worst qualified hitter in the entire sport. Then you add in the defensive regression as well, and you start to say, what do you do here? What do you really offer to anyone in a baseball sense? And they need to get to that outcome quickly. Now, if Bregman goes down, I'm scared it's going to slow that decision even more. But they did move him down to 7th the other day, and that felt like the first sign of, all right, he's in trouble. But guess who got moved down to 8th today? Christian Campbell. And those are the guys, you moved Campbell into that cleanup spot when Casas couldn't really get it going and when Willier struggled. Well, Trevor Story was hitting 4th and 5th a majority of April and into May. You need guys to make up those spots in the roster. And is it completely unfair to expect Roman Anthony to do that? 100%.
Yeah, no doubt.
Do you have better options? You don't.
You know what? We're all in this together. Can we get rowing in the right direction? By the way, does it benefit Raphael Devers to go back into the field? Does it benefit his own performance? My answer would be no. Devers has taken to DHing extremely well, as I thought he would. Playing the field, he had the shoulder injuries. He was banged up because he was playing the field because he can't keep himself in good enough shape to play the field, and he gets these nagging injuries that affect him over the course of 162. By DHing, that is going to preserve him as a hitter, and you should theoretically get the best version of Raphael Devers, which you are getting. This is the best we've ever seen Raphael Devers with the approach at the plate, the walks. The velocity is still a bit of a concern, but still, the guy's raking. He is raking. But it would be better for the team if he sacrificed a little of his own personal performance by going back to playing third base or going to play first base. It would be better for the team. There are so many things here that we could say, is this a perfect situation? No, but it would be better for the team. Would it be good for the team to bench a $140 million player who's an important figure in that clubhouse? No, it's not good for Trevor Story, but it would be good for the team overall because Marcelo Meyer's a better baseball player. We have to start thinking about the team here, and there are very few people in that clubhouse who are actually doing it. The 23-year-old kid who hasn't hit in a month is actually saying, hey, I can maybe help the team by learning to play a new position, even though he hasn't done anything to help the team at the plate. At least he's trying. Where's everybody else trying?
And it's Memorial Day coming up. So that's the landmark for a lot of people in baseball, whatever it may be. You don't want to make serious decisions or, season-long kind of guesses or predictions or anything like that until that point. Well, hey, we are here at that point. It's no longer the last week of April, the first week of May. You can't call it early in the season anymore. And especially this Red Sox team that is sitting at 500 right now, they did not do anything in the first 7 or 8 weeks of the season to give them cushion or more room to figure this stuff out. So you need to start acting in a decisive manner before things start to slip. Because at the end of the day, the first wild card right now, you want to know how many less wins you have than that team?
How many?
1. The Guardians have the first wild card. They're at 27 wins. Now, you're a couple games back. They've played a few less, but it's 1 win less than you. You are right in range of that first wild card. The division, it's already 5 games. So that's happening very quickly. You lose a couple more, you talk 7 or 8 back of the division, people aren't even going to be having that conversation because the Yankees aren't at full strength. But I think it would go so far, even if Devers was willing to play third and he went and took the position for a couple days to cool down that drama that seemingly is just existing in the background, it would be a compromise. And I think people would acknowledge that, and maybe even some of the teammates that are looking at him a little sideways and say, all right, the first base thing, I wish he was willing to do that. Hell, at least he's willing to step up in this department if it came to it.
Will the manager be willing to do it?
No.
We'll get into Cora's role in all of this. 617-779-0985. I was actually expecting Stu to jump in with that very quick
Sorry.
no. No, Milliken, what I take that as a sign that Stu has poisoned you.
It's my coaching tree.
Which is a good thing. So we'll get Stu's thoughts on that. He's fired up about Cora. We continue. It's the Roundtable with no Maz. A lot to get into. We have 2 open phone lines. Good opportunity to hop on board. 617-779-0985. McCarthy, Milliken.
and he missed with a heater. He comes back with the breaking ball. We saw Raphael almost blow out his back last at bat on the breaking ball. This one, he does it again, and he doesn't miss it.
As a very quick aside, Milligan, why the hell would you throw that guy a breaking ball?
I don't know.
What are you doing?
It's been happening for weeks at this point in time. People weren't challenging him with fastballs over 95. To his credit, he's been better against them recently, and he was having some bad luck earlier in the year, but the whiffs were the biggest concern. But I don't know. I have no clue, but that's why the Orioles are where they are right now and why that whole coaching staff is probably pretty close to getting completely kicked out, not just Brandon Hyde.
Why would you throw Devers a breaking ball?
Yeah.
Easy. It's the Red Sox philosophy. The softer you throw the ball, it doesn't go as far, and the less exit velocity goes. That's why you would throw him, because he's not going to hit it 108 miles out and 400 and something feet. That's why.
I mean, Stu, you're so right. By the way, what was the exit velocity on Devers' home run?
108.
Oh, yeah. It went like 415 feet or something like that.
And the velocity on the pitch was a slider that was 84 miles an hour. So it's not... Think if he threw him a 95-mile-an-hour fastball.
Oh my
like,
God.
Goodbye, Ted Williams seat. Goodbye, Red seat. That's 615 feet easy.
This year, Raphael Devers against breaking balls, 346 with a 596 slug. Good luck.
How many
to you.
home runs there?
3. 6 on fastballs, though. I have to look up 95 plus. That's going to be a baseball savant search.
All right, that's why we have Milliken to break down stuff like that. That's why.
But no, they should throw him 70 miles an hour, because then he won't hit it 400.
That's the way that works. Although I did watch the 8th inning and the 9th inning with the severe exit velocity with what was his name, Emmanuel Rivera.
Yep.
This poor sap
They hate
goes
him.
out there. Wow. Goes out there, gives up position player, goes out there, gives up 8 runs in the bottom of the 8th.
Is that a 72 ERA?
72, yep.
Good math
Leave
there,
him to
Stu.
die.
Wow. That is, you want to talk about taking one for the team. Raphael Devers would not do that. Not a team player. Christian Campbell would. He'd go out there and take one for the team.
Hell.
Raphael Devers, no. Alex Cora definitely wouldn't either. Did Cora ever have any pitching appearances? He must have. Somewhere along the way.
Ramon Vasquez
I
might.
feel like he had 2
As a
pitcher. I feel like Cora pitched twice in like the 9th inning for Francona.
Yeah, utility infielder. Would Alex Cora, do you think Alex Cora would approach Raphael Devers right now to ask him to play third base if this Bregman injury is in any way long term?
I don't think so. I think when you look at how he handled the first base situation, it seems like he knows his relationship with Devers took a significant hit with what happened over spring training, and it's very fair. When you're Raphael Devers and you look at Alex Cora, who told you all offseason, Bregman was a second baseman, you're my third baseman. The Bregman Arenado rumors, all BS. Don't pay attention to any of them. And then you go and he signed his lieutenant. This is his guy in Alex Bregman. Say what you will. We know how close they were in Houston and that Cora was the biggest driving force. I think their relationship was extremely rocky during camp, with Cora even getting to the point of calling him out for wanting to continue to hit on the backfield and stating something like that publicly. That was no small thing at the time. But the fact that Breslow was the one who had to have the conversation with him, that to me showed you need to be the bad guy here, because if our relationship gets any worse in the clubhouse, we might have a real problem here. And I think that's why, even when it came to the meeting he had with John Henry, him and Cora, Devers and Cora, that relationship is miles better than what it is with Breslow. They're not going to risk making that worse.
And that's why he should be the one to approach him, because he has the best chance of anybody in the organization to get Devers on board for the betterment of the team. You think they'd be better off with Devers at third base if Bregman misses time? Stu, would the Red Sox be better with Devers at third base if Bregman is hurt at all?
Yeah, because then you bring up Roman Anthony, then you bring up Marcelo Meyer, and they can both hit lefties. Marcelo Meyer crushed one today off a lefty. So my question is, why aren't they in the big leagues? What is it that is preventing them from being called up to the major league roster? Is it something performance-wise? Like, does the ball spin differently at AAA than it does in the big leagues?
It is
or is it just service time?
It is a launching pad in Worcester, I'll give you that. But it's service time. They're manipulating the service time. Am I wrong about this, Milliken?
I think Anthony, without a doubt, and I do think it's a little bit of fit at this point in time, even though Ceddanne Rafaela, it was a good month at the plate, and he had a nice hit today to, put you ahead at a crucial spot. He's still essentially the hitter he was a year ago, even though the metrics have improved.
But he's doing just enough to keep his bat in the lineup, and he's their best defender.
By far. He's incredible defensively in center field. But with what Roman Anthony's doing, he's completely mastered the level. We've all seen that for some time. Even with that weird power outage he had for 12 days after fouling fouling a pitch off his foot. For Meyer, I do think it is a development thing still, because he entered today with an OPS below 800 at AAA. He's been streaky. There's been some really good stretches. Even going into Sunday, it was a sub 700 OPS against lefties. So there were things he was still working on here. Now, when you look what's ahead of him in Trevor Story, and you say, well, he can't play baseball anymore. So clearly Marcelo Meyer's better. I think they would hope Meyer would have a little bit more time to figure it out. Roman Anthony, to me, he's been ready for weeks, and I don't think there's anyone in the sport that disagrees with that take. And I think part of the reason they haven't called him up is the whole, comp pick conversation we've been having the last couple weeks on this show, and they're scared he'd finish first or second in Rookie of the Year voting. Because the truth is, right now,
Christian Campbell ain't winning it.
No, he's at 0.2. Carlos Narvaez has the second highest WAR amongst rookies in the American League. Wilson's the only player ahead of him. Roman Anthony could easily come up, and if he gets hot for 4.5 months, he has a great shot at it. Right. There's no one running away with it.
And just to reset for folks who might not be familiar with this this take of yours, opinion of yours, I mean, really more information of yours than anything. If Roman Anthony comes up right now and were to win Rookie of the Year, and the same thing is true for Marcelo Meyer, Anthony or Meyer would get a year of service time added on, meaning they would hit free agency a year earlier, and the Red Sox would not get any benefit for that because they were not with the team to start the season.
Correct. They had to be called up within the first 2 weeks, and it's not only winning it, it's coming in first or second. And that would make them lose out essentially on Roman Anthony's age 27 season, which if they believe, as he is the number one prospect in the sport, that is going to be a prime year where he should be a top 5 player in the sport.
So they're running out the clock on this.
Yes.
That's what they're doing. They're playing it's the 4-minute offense.
And I think
they should trade him now if they don't think he's going to resign here then.
Jimmy, it's such a great point. The Red Sox should not be concerned with the cost of Roman Anthony 6 years from now. If Roman Anthony is the player that you think he's going to be, you're going to hand him a $500 million contract in a few years anyway.
Kyle Tucker money. He'll get what Kyle Tucker gets this upcoming offseason. And that's my problem. If you were 10 games over 500, take your time. People would understand it. You can make an argument for it. You're not. You're straddling 500. Now with this Bregman thing, it feels like you could slip very quickly into a spot where this team disappoints on a complete wide-scale basis. Hell, Sam Kennedy even said, compared to where we thought when camp ended, this has been a disappointment. There's no other way to frame it. For this team to be where they're at, there's no excuse for Roman Anthony not to be up here at this point. And that goes down to them knowing he knows what he's worth. And I know people didn't like when Tristan Casas was talking that way. It's a similar mindset. This guy got $2.5 million when he got drafted. It's not Christian Campbell who signed for slot $400K in the 4th round. Right. It's not one of those things. Roman Anthony got taken later, but he got taken later because teams were concerned he was going to college. That's what that was.
So I think we now understand, too, that Christian Campbell was not as ready as Roman Anthony probably is for the big leagues.
Yeah,
and I believe in Christian Campbell.
But he was ready to take their stupid contract under value.
So that's why he was up here on opening day. Because he did not have a good spring training, Milliken.
Nope.
He did not. Roman Anthony outperformed him in spring training. Marcelo Meyer definitely outperformed him in spring training. And Campbell was brought up because of the financial considerations.
And being a right-handed bat.
Being a right-handed bat definitely helped. There's no doubt about that. But the whole was Christian Campbell really ready thing? I think we should kind of put that back on the table just a bit. Doesn't mean I don't believe in him because I think he's a special talent.
Yeah,
but I might have rushed him a little bit.
I'm not quite there yet. I do think you can argue at the start, was there a way where Devers could have played third base and Bregman second? But I think they've shown that their reasoning made sense. No one ever said their reasoning didn't make sense. It was how they approached it and how they were cowardly doing it throughout the spring and throughout the offseason when everybody could tell this was what their vision was. And Christian Campbell, hey, he shows up the first month of the year. He was Rookie of the Month, and for all of Major League Baseball in the AL. So that's something you got to acknowledge and you got to give credit to. And he's going through that adjustment period. We all knew it was coming. To me, that's just where you look at the Red Sox and say, you guys want to make his life so much harder. It was bad enough you put him in the middle of your lineup as a rookie. Now all these positions, the center field stuff, it just feels like they have not put him in the best position to succeed, and that's because they have him extended, and they're not worried because they think he'll figure it out in due time.
All right, I see you on the line. Let's sneak in Dalton and Dedham real quick. Hey, Dalton.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
What's up?
Hey, so just quickly, Milliken, we talked about this last week. I was saying we're looking for a spark and everything like that. Now this is the time. Once again, there's Alex Bregman is down. I think Marcelo Meyer, he's that talented to play third place if needed. If needed, he could play second also. I know I saw him taking reps there today. But that's the thing. even Alex Bregman in the clubhouse is sparking these kids up. Even with Roman Anthony and Marcelo Meyer, he went on that trip to. I know you guys remember this one.
And we're up against it, so I'm going to let you go on that. Marcelo Meyer could help the team tonight. He played in Worcester. He could be playing Game 2 for the Red Sox tonight. He could help them with Bregman down.
I do find it very interesting that he wasn't even scratched. If it was something where they were thinking was imminent and they needed to give him the night.
You're a great point.
Right?
Tells you they're not going to call him up. They'll call up Grissom first.
Which is crazy because he's been a below league average hitter in AAA this year. He's not doing anything to change the outlook on him. If anything, he's been disappointing down there. And yeah, there's a simple pathway where you could play Meyer at third and he'd handle it just fine. It doesn't feel like they're ready to make that jump. I wish they were being that aggressive. And truthfully to me, I'm ready to be aggressive with Trevor Story getting out of there as well. But I don't think the Red Sox are there yet. They seem at least a week away, maybe more.
We'll talk about Trevor Story. We need to get to Brian Bayo and his performance today. And I see on the line, we will take care of you here on the Baseball Hour Roundtable. Milliken's here. Stu is here. It's McCarthy. Quick update. Then right back with you more on today's activity for the Red Sox.
It's just kind of a day-to-day thing at this point, and kind of see when I wake up tomorrow how it feels.
All right, that's Alex Bregman after the game, after leaving game one with a quad injury. Says it's day-to-day, wake up in the morning, see how it feels. That's the type of injury that can go either way, right? You can wake up in the morning and say, hey, false alarm, we're good. Or you wake up in the morning and it seizes up on you and you're headed to the IL.
Look at Romy Gonzalez. It was supposed to be, the minimum IL stint. He's now been out for 3 weeks, and he just had another setback, saying, I felt good. I've been hitting. I've been doing all this stuff in live BPs. I tried to run fast. I feel it every single time.
You better hope that this isn't anything too serious, because Bregman's importance to the team, you want to talk about two baseball nerds, and Stu came in here too. So 3 baseball nerds sitting around a table, scratching out lineups. I mean, Milliken, we both took our pants off, and it was what? It was baseball eroticism, except then you actually got to the end of the lineup and you said, uh-oh, this isn't good. John in Norfolk wants to talk about that. Hey, John.
Hey, what's going on, boys? Big fan of the Hub, big fan of the 10. So just got a quick question for you guys.
Yep.
I'm just wondering, going off that, what do you guys think would be the best, most competitive lineup once the prospects are up and assuming that Bregman is healthy?
We just did this during the break. I think we came to consensus. I think you and I were in agreement on what the lineup should be. What did we come out with?
So we have Jarren Duran still batting leadoff. I know there's been some people that want him out of that spot, but I think when he's right, you see why he's so important at kickstarting everything. Christian Campbell at 2. We'd be moving him up. He's hitting 7th in the second game today, hit 8th in the previous first game, but still, I liked McCarthy's point on this. With Raphael Devers hitting 3rd in this lineup, you're moving him down a spot. It's ensuring Campbell's getting pitched to, something when he's been batting 4th that he hasn't always had.
You're helping the kid out. You're giving him protection.
And he has the athleticism at the top of the lineup. You can do something there. And if you believed in him so much, right, the analytic mindset is you put your best hitters at the top of the lineup to get more at-bats over the course of 162. You believed in him so much, you moved him up to a cleanup hitter. All right, well, this is continuing that belief.
Can I just run through the rest of the lineup? Because I think the major takeaway is here, if you lose Bregman, you have no right-handed hitters. And because Campbell hasn't hit in a month. So I think the goal of the new lineup in absence of Alex Bregman needs to be getting Christian Campbell going. And the best way to do that is not to drop him in the order, but give him protection with Devers hitting behind. So we had said it was going to be Duran, Campbell, Devers, Abreu, Narvaez hitting fifth, and I like the guy, but he's not. But they'd have no right-handed hitters.
Got robbed of a homer today.
They have no right-handed hitters. Then you and I are both calling up Anthony batting sixth, Story / Romy Gonzalez batting seventh, Meyer batting eighth, and Raphael batting ninth. The point being here, Milliken, you better pray to God that Alex Bregman does not miss any significant time, because the lineup completely changes without him in it. I would actually argue that outside of Garrett Crochet, who's your ace, I think Alex Bregman is the most important player on this team. I think he's even more important than Raphael Devers, given their lack of right-handed hitters.
100%. And it's not only just what he does offensively, it's defensively. You had the first couple weeks where he was throwing the ball away. Now you've seen how much he means to this team in terms of turning double plays regularly, especially with where Trevor Story's defense is right now. But I also think this should be something Red Sox fans keep in mind, because there's been a lot of Paul Skeens talk the last couple days and trading a Meyer and whatever it may be. If Bregman opts out at the end of this year, and right now, if he's healthy and he comes back and continues on this trend, he's going to go take a 5 or 6 year deal because someone's going to give it to him. And he'd be stupid not to go chase that money and get after it. We know the Red Sox were not interested in anything of that length a year ago. I have a hard time, even if he's great this year, imagining him doing that, or, Breslow offering up that money. So if Bregman walks here, you start to realize this course needs a good amount of work, not only on the pitching side, but on the position player side, even if you are a believer in Marcelo Meyer.
He's so important. He's so important. That would be a devastating injury. And thank God. I mean, it sounds like day to day we hope, but you never know. How about Drew in the car? Hey, Drew.
Hey, evening, guys. I have a better idea for the lineup, I think. If we are married to the idea of Campbell going to first base, how about this instead? We move Raphael into second, then put Meyer at short, and then that gives us the opening to move Anthony into the lineup. I don't take this team seriously until he's in the lineup, and I am sorry. For the first time, Tyler, me and you agree on something. I'm done. We have to pay that man anyway. There's no way not to pay him. Why are we kicking ourselves in the crotch every single night, putting him into the lineup?
You're talking about Story?
Him. We don't have to play him.
Yeah, and I think he must be talking about Trevor Story. This is, I don't know if the Bregman thing puts more pressure on them or less pressure on them with Story, but he's right. Trevor Story's not a Major League Baseball player right now. He can't, Milliken, he can't hit at all. And I've been trying, actually, hold on. Stu, will you be witness to Milliken's apology to me on Trevor Story? Who's been saying it for the last 3 years, Milliken, that Trevor Story can't hit, totally sucks, and you need to acknowledge it.
You have been saying that, and I continue to cite that I thought he could be a league average hitter. He's nowhere near that right now. And a big part of it is I never expected him to hit for high average. I thought it was going to be a 230, 240. I'd expect a little bit of power. I thought that was the one thing, say what you will, he will run into 20 home runs, 25 home runs. You can't have 2 extra base hits in a month with one coming off a position player.
Can't play.
That's crazy. It's just an unrealistic thing. That's not a Major League Baseball player. That's the hard part. If there was even a semblance underneath that he was getting unlucky or something wasn't going his way, you could argue it. There's nothing. He is chasing like Ceddanne Rafaela a year ago. He's a worse hitter than Ceddanne Rafaela was a year ago.
He can't hit. He sucks. Stu?
He's your cleanup hitter tonight.
Jesus.
Sad.
Nope.
Is he really?
Not Jesus. It's Trevor Story hitting fourth tonight.
Is that right? Is that the lineup? Is he hitting?
Duran, Devers, Ref Schneider, Story, Sogar, Toro, Campbell, Wong, Rafaela, Giolito on the bump.
Stop. Alex Cora, wake up. He can't play baseball. He sucks. I know he's your guy. I know you like him. I know he's one of the leaders in the clubhouse. I know he's one of your pets. Teacher's pet, Trevor Story. Alex, he can't play. He can't play, and he's your cleanup hitter tonight. That's embarrassing. I'd rather have Connor Wong cleaning up for this team, and that guy can't hit either. I'd rather have anybody else. Milliken, take some cuts and get out there. You are more qualified to be a cleanup hitter. I don't care who it is. Trevor Story is the last person in the organization who should be hitting cleanup tonight. But we have to treat Trevor like he's special because he was an all-star in 2019 in Colorado where the ball doesn't break. He was a Coors Field merchant. He's always been a Coors Field merchant. He sucks. He is 8 points away from having a career OPS lower than Julio Lugo in a Red Sox uniform. Trevor Story effing blows. Get him out of my lineup. Get him off the team. And if you insist on keeping him around because he's getting paid $140 million, and he is, and you like him and he's an important guy in your clubhouse, tell him he's a utility player and tell him he should pick up a first baseman's mitt and go how to learn to play first base because the kid's coming up and you've lost your job. Because Milliken, he's lost his job. He can't play baseball. He sucks. He shouldn't be here. End of story. Let's stop treating him like he belongs. He doesn't belong here.
That's what upsets me more than anything. We keep saying he lost his job, and to them, he hasn't. And then to me, it's just a maddening exercise. And listen, I'm not going to sit here and act like I don't know the numbers against lefties. It's 297, 333, 541.
It's a platoon player.
874 OPS. Awesome. Did not look great against Cade Povich, and he hasn't hit anything in the last month. That's just the reality of the situation there. But no, Trevor Story hitting fourth in this lineup, I do think it's a sign of obviously the injuries and some of the stuff going on right now, but there's no way. There never should be a day where Trevor Story's batting cleanup for your team.
There's no excuse. The Bregman thing isn't an excuse. Oh, what do you want them to do? Who do you want to hit cleanup?
Anybody.
Literally anybody else on the team. But we have to treat Trevor like he's so special. He's Trevor Story. Oh, you can kiss my ass with Trevor Story, who does still, to this day, does not get the attention he deserves as perhaps maybe the worst signing in the history of the Boston Red Sox. He is right up there. He is Julio Lugo. He can't play, and he's never been able to play. And I'm glad you finally admitted it. It was man of you.
I'm not going to run from it. Let's be real. We've been all watching the same horror show for a month as he attempts to still be a baseball player. We know he can't hit velocity, so he's trying to sit breaking ball, gets beat by anything that's hard. The minute he starts setting fastball, guess what? He's swinging out in front of a breaking ball, and you're in big trouble. But Julio Lugo, at least he could play defense. Right now, Trevor Story isn't even giving you that with that ugly play we saw a couple days ago against the Mets in the 7th inning with the guy going to third base. Just throw the ball there. Instead, we see him try to make the throw at first base, and we're reminded of what his arm is at this point in time. And the truth is, he hasn't. That last injury he had to the shoulder took whatever the athleticism was left at that position. Because at least in the years prior, he was an elite defender. He was comparable to a Dansby Swanson. At this point, there's no justification for how he's hitting.
It's washed. We got to get to Brian Bayo in his day. We'll do that next. Red Sox just postponed this game tonight.
You waiting for Marcelo Meyer to get pulled?
It's the home team's decision before the game, right? As to whether or not
because
you
there's
play.
also future games at Fenway Park with the Orioles.
Right, for the rest of the weekend. Does it benefit the Red Sox, given the state of the Bregman injury, to postpone this game tonight, readjust in the morning? Worcester's here. They can figure out how they're going to approach it, maybe have a better sense as to whether Bregman's going to go on the injured list or not.
100%, and Worcester banged out their second game tonight, too.
Okay.
So they're scheduled for a doubleheader tomorrow.
And, I'm not outside. it's...
Von Gresham hit a walk-off, by the way.
That's good. That's exciting. Yes.
About damn time you start hitting even a triple.
Hey, that's your call-up, by the way. That's coming. You know that's coming.
Well, right-handed hitter. I'm not saying I agree with it, but that will be their excuse. So,
Tyler, is it 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock tomorrow for the Sox?
I believe so.
1:05, 6:35.
Oh, even better.
I might have to go to that 6:35 game. I'm on the air till 5 here. That might have just worked out pretty well for me. I wanted to go tonight, but I had, the baseball hour roundtable. And like some of you, I generally show up to this thing, unlike Tony Maserati.
I can't talk right now. I haven't been here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
So hands up. I suck.
I think I might have to go to that tomorrow. I was going to go tonight. Can't do it now.
Could be a special night, McCarthy. Who knows?
Boots on the ground.
I'll be there.
I also wonder if this was Cora getting his way a little bit too. I know he's talked a lot, earlier in the season about playing in rain and playing through some of that. Do they not want to go through that kind of situation again? And now when he's like, yeah, I'm not interested in this, they're like, yeah, you're right. Let's not do that. We'll give you the night. We'll give you whatever you wanted earlier in the year that you didn't get.
Does he have a dinner reservation with the family tonight?
Graduation party.
I have a dinner reservation that I still actually haven't confirmed whether Milliken is joining or not. I got the Milliken maybe, so I'm going to take that as a no.
It's never a good sign.
But I'm going to rush off and do that. I promised you a Brian Bayo take. We'll do that tomorrow because I'm on all weekend. Milliken, as always, it's been fun. Jimmy Stewart, I'll talk to you Sunday morning, 10 a.m. Stu and I, 10 to 2, Sunday morning.
Stu in here?
In here.
Yeah, in your
baby.
seat, Tyler.
Huh?
In your seat, Tyler.
This seat belongs to you. It's not mine. I'll put it like that.